Aunt Jenny, it's me, Johnson Hatfield.
Johnson Hatfield's been in the state penitentiary in Kentucky for now half a dozen years.
Aunt Jenny, it's plumb silly to stand here and argue with you when I know you ain't never locked your door and never have since I known you. Why, you like to killed me and Cap that time for coming in there and stealing 2 blackberry pies you had set out to cool. You gave me a whooping I still ain't forgot.
You get in here, Chauncey. When you get a look at you, why, boy, ain't you something to see. The child, you're so cold. It's like you've been stuck in some old root cellar.
A root cellar would have been a damn sight better than where I've been stuck.
Well, I dare say it would. Well, get on over there by that fire. You got some warming up to do.
I'm awful glad to see you're still here, Aunt Jenny.
Oh, what did you think? Got up and died? Nah. It's going to take more than old age to kill me, I think. This old heart of mine took many a shock, and I'm still here. And I'm doing a sight better than when I was a young woman with a head full of foolish fancies. I see some of them young things making up stories in their heads they can't get rid of. When they don't come true, they just doesn't die of disappointment.
I guess some of them do.
Oh, honey, I didn't mean nothing by that. Just me rambling on. And I ain't even been hospitable enough to offer you something to warm up your innards. I just took me a little nip myself.
I'll take me a cup of coffee or anything else you got, Aunt Jenny. But I thought you knew I weren't a drinking man no more.
Oh, well, Lordy mercy, of course I knew it. Weren't it right here the day you swore it off? Just that I remember you as the first one to grab the jug and the last one to let it go.
Yes,
well,
that was me, all right.
I got some nice fresh cider here. Ain't got no kick to it at all. And I got an apple pie. I'd tempt the angels themselves into stealing.
The cider will be just fine.
You know, now that I cast back on it, I did hear something down at the store about you getting out, but I didn't put no stock in it. Them people down there's always talking about things they don't know nothing about. But guess maybe they was right this time.
Well, it all happened kind of fast like, Aunt Jenny.
Well, get on back over by that stove and get your jaws warmed up. Why don't you tell me all about it? Still looks the same, don't it? I ain't changed nothing since you was here last. And I don't see why I should. Them children keep coming up here and tell me I ought to do this and do that. Why, there's a boy up here last week from a hike telling me about a pipe they can put in your wall that spits out water whenever you want it. Yeah, got a little knob on it, makes it come and go. Well, what if that knob was to break off and that water just to keep on a-coming? Why, you'd have Gulder Creek running right through your house. Now, leave that water out there bubbling in the gurgling room. Oh, there go rattling on again. Now tell me, child, how was it come to let you out? Lord, when they took you, I thought sure they'd done locked the door and thrown away the key.
Some folks says I saved the warden's life. I reckon that's how the governor seen it, and he went and issued me a pardon. Next thing I knowed, them gates is swinging wide open, and all the old boys in there is just waving me goodbye.
Well, sounds like a mighty brave thing to do, Johnson, save another man's life. Were he drowning or something?
No, Aunt Jenny. You know I can't swim and never could. That's why crossing that old river out there like to give me a religion every time I've done it. The thing of it is, though, it weren't very brave at all. I was just standing in line along with everybody else waiting to get my victuals, and his warden walks past me, talks to one of the old guards up there. Well, this feller besides me, he reaches in his shirt, and he pulls out this big old knife. Where he got it, I don't know, but he swings it up real quick, like right past my head. Maybe I grabbed it because I knowed he was going to kill the warden, or maybe I just grabbed it because it comes so close to my head, seemed it was going to take out my eye. Well, I twisted that feller's arm around, and he commenced to fighting me. Before I knowed it, we both went down. When I come up, That knife were in his belly, and he were dead. He never even made a sound that I heard. You know what, Aunt Jenny? That there were the first man I ever killed. People can talk all they want about what I did and didn't do a long time ago, but that there were the first man's life I ever took.
Well, now. Well, I'm sorry that fella had to die to set you free, but I'm mighty glad to see you, boy. I've been thinking about you. Already been thinking about a lot of people. Some of them dead and buried many a day. I found something in an old dress the other day. I'm always sticking things here and there. And when I seen it, I thought, now this ought to be in the hands of Johnson Hatfield. But I had no idea in the world how I was to get it over to you. And now here you are. The Lord do surely work in mysterious ways.
What was it that you found, Aunt Jenny?
Well, now, I'll show it to you, if I can remember where I put it this time. Huh? Well, looky there. I've been wondering where I put old Betsy, and there she is. Oh, I do so love a good smoke. Them children's down at the store is always saying to me, Aunt Jenny, don't you be smoking that pipe in public. It's embarrassing. People think you's a hillbilly. That's just what I is, I tell them. Them children's getting fancy ideas from all them flatlanders coming up here wanting to know about the feud. The young'uns is the only ones that'll talk to them. None of the older people will. And Lord, I don't know where they're all coming from. Just last week I caught 2 city women out there by my fence taking a piece out of the fence. I yelled out the door at them, "What are you doing?" And they told me somebody said a McCoy was killed up here near the house. And they thought they seen a blood stain on the post. Probably where old Sulky just peed. You never seen 2 people jump as high as them 2 women when I took out my shotgun and got a bead on them. I wouldn't have put money on them being able to run that fast. Yeah, I've been thinking about them old days. Maybe it's some people coming up here asking questions. Or maybe it is what I found at Roseanne's the other day.
Is that what you were going to give me, Aunt Jenny? Something of Roseanne's?
Yes, child, it was.
I come walking up the hill here, half expecting to see her. It seemed like sometimes when I was in prison, that'd be the only way I could keep myself going. Just thinking about Roseanne. There ain't nothing to look at but them same 4 walls, and after a while, you begin to feel like you're stuck down at the bottom of a big old hole, and you can't breathe. Sometimes when there's so many of us piled up in that house, I'd feel that same way. Like I couldn't get a breath. I couldn't breathe. But then I could always get up and go outside and look at all the stars and all the spaces in between them. You can't see the stars from a cell, Aunt Jenny. You can't see nothing. So I held on to this picture I had in my mind of Roseanne. And sometimes, when I'd fall asleep, I'd have these dreams, and I'd swear she'd be right there looking, just like the day we'd first met.
That day's over and done with, child. You's best to forget about it. Dreams ain't real things.
No. But dreams is a way for people not to see where they really are. And that's all that kept me going, Aunt Jenny. Was remembering that day that I met Roseanne just over and over again in my mind. I keep wondering how it was that I could love her so much, but yet treat her so bad.
You and your brother can't vote.
I know it. Well, you should have seen me in Kentucky that day I met Roseanne. I was so full of myself. Oh, I'd gone over to the election day party they was having over on Blackberry Creek. And that's when I seen her. Oh, I'd heard about her and all, and she heard about me, too. Probably them stories she heard about me weren't good ones. Not like the ones I'd heard about her. And the sun was shining down bright that day, and the first thing I seen when I got over there was this girl standing across the way. Oh, the light was just danced in her hair, and it made it shine so pretty. I just stopped right in my tracks when I seen her. Oh, I'd gone over with Uncle Ellison and Jim Vance, and we all had our eyes out for the women. But there wasn't none of them that could compare with Roseanne. You know what I did? I was so full of beans, I walked right up to her and I said, "Miss McCoy, I'm Johnson Hatfield, and I come to take you for a walk." She just smiled real friendly like and said, "Well, I guess if you're so set on it, I guess I better go." That's before all of it happened, Aunt Jenny. Before the war broke out between the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Chauncey, where are you? If you don't show yourself in 2 shakes, I'm gonna leave. I swear I will. Well, all right, Johnson Hatfield. You can just kiss my foot.
Why, Roseanne, honey, I'd rather kiss that pretty little foot of yours than to kiss anything else in the world. Almost. And I think I will.
Oh, Chauncey.
I said to my Uncle Jim when I seen you this morning, I said, "Jim, right there goes just about the prettiest girl that ever walked the face of this earth, and I just got to meet her." When he told me you was a McCoy and old Randall's daughter to boot, whoo-wee, I knowed I was in trouble then.
Well, so I am a McCoy. But I don't know why you'd worry about that. Ain't no McCoy ever killed a Hatfield now, have they? But now your daddy did have to go and kill my daddy's brother.
Now, Roseanne, honey, that was back during the war between the states. It ain't never been proved that he did. And besides, I don't ever think he did do it anyway.
My pa sure ain't never gotten over thinking it was him. And my cousin Nancy growed up all them years without a daddy. Why, it surely has made her a wildcat. To leave a family without a pa is a terrible thing.
I know it is, Roseanne. But I wish to God everybody'd let it be. Your pa especially.
I guess it'd be better if he did. He ain't the kind, though. He's like an old barn cat with a rat. He'll take something, and he just won't let it go till he's about worried it to death. He gets on to me sometimes for things I ain't even done. It seems like I can't never please him. My ma'am neither.
Well, they's just both plumb crazy because you's about the most pleasingest person that I ever met. But let's not talk about people fussing and fighting and killing one another no more, all right? Give me your word.
All right.
And give me your mouth.
All right. Chauncey, I've done things with you today I ain't never gonna forget.
Me neither.
It worries me.
Well, Roseanne, honey, there ain't nothing to be ashamed of.
I ain't ashamed. It's just that I think I'll want to do them again.
Whoo-wee! You are something. You're not like I thought you'd be at all.
You are, Chauncey. You're just like I thought you'd be. I kept making it up in my mind that one day I'd meet a man who was quiet and wasn't always fussing about things. My pa, my brothers, they's always fussing and fighting about something. I didn't want to tangle up with no fighter, and I knew what would tell me if he weren't one. Look here, Chauncey. All your cuts and bruises are on the inside, made by the saw and the plow. You've been battling with the hard scrabble of these hills, Chauncey, not with other people. I can tell that.
Roseanne, honey, just because I'm a peaceable man and you've taken some notion of that in your mind, it still is surprising for you to up and walk away from your family down there. They's probably worried sick.
Why, Chauncey, I can't rightly say just why I did it. But there was something in the way you came up to me in the midst of all them McCoys and said your name the way you did. Why, it just plumb amazed me. And then there was this feeling I had when you took my hand and put it on your arm.
What kind of feeling?
I don't know. Like I knew you. Like you were family.
Shoot, Roseanne, you say the funniest things. Family.
It ain't got nothing to do with names or who you're born to, Chauncey. I can't quite explain it.
I think I know what you're talking about, but damned if it don't sound silly. Did you ever have a day in your life that you didn't want to see the sun set on?
Yes, I have.
And was it like today?
Why, Chauncey, it is today.
Roseanne, I wish that sun would stay just where it is and not slip on behind those hills. I wish I could hold back the dark.
No, Chauncey, you can't hold back the dark, and it's going to be coming on fast. But maybe if we climbed right up there to the top of that ridge, maybe it'd still be shining daylight on the other side. Maybe then I wouldn't have to go home and never see you again.
Now, Roseanne, honey, I will see you again. Come hell or high water, I swear I will. I loved you, Roseanne. From the first minute I seen you this morning, I loved you.
Did you hear that? What was it?
I don't know. But if you'd like, I'll go take a look around.
No, Chauncey, don't go. I feel a mite uneasy. Don't it feel colder to you?
Shoot, Roseanne. That's just the night air coming up from down there in the valley. Boy, it's getting mighty dark down there.
It's a good thing, ain't it? Love, I mean?
Why, sure it is, Rosanna.
I've been thinking about my days. Between getting the food on the table for the men, washing up the dirty dishes and the clothes, helping Daddy in the fields and Mommy with the kids. It don't seem like there's time for anything as hard to latch on to as love. I mean, you can dream about it, make up all kinds of fancy stories in your head. But love, it's like this here wind that comes up. It blows on after a while.
Now, Roseanne, honey, this ain't gonna blow over. I promise you here and now that I will always love you. And every time you think you can't hold on to it, just look in there.
Chauncey, it's gotten awfully dark all of a sudden. I better go or they'll come looking for me. I got the strangest feeling. Like there's eyes in all the trees.
Shoot, Roseanne. I don't want you to go, but if you're feeling a mite uneasy, well, I guess you better. But first, though, we gotta fix us up a meeting place. You think of anywhere that'd be safe?
There's Aunt Jenny's over on Beach Creek. I sometimes cross the river on a Saturday to get some of her potions for my ma'am. She says there ain't nobody can mix up a headache powder like Aunt Jenny. That's awfully close to your folks, though.
Well, it'll be all right. I'll come and see you this Saturday coming. Now, you go on down the trail first there, and I'll follow a little behind.
Johnsy, you told me that when you first saw me, you loved me. Well, it took me a minute or two to come to it. But I
know you do, Roseanne. There ain't no need to say it. And everything will be all right, I promise.
Why, Johnsy Hatfield, what are you going to tell all them other pretty little girls you've been courting when they find out about my cousin Roseanne?
Well, looky here. If it ain't Nancy McCoy, the little wildcat herself. What do you mean skulking around like that, Nancy? Did somebody send you up here?
I was just walking out in the woods, and I heard you two talking. And when I knew it was Johnsy Hatfield, why, I just had to stop and see what it is you say to them gals to make them go plumb crazy over you.
Some of them gals is plumb crazy to begin with. It don't matter what I say to them. They's gonna hear what they want.
How come you ain't never tried none of that sweet talk on me? I ain't got no daddy that hates your daddy like Roseanne's. I ain't got no daddy 'cause your daddy done killed him.
Listen at you, talking about things you don't know nothing about. You're one smart-mouth little girl, Nancy. How old are you now? About 15?
I'll be 16 next month.
Well, now, I expect you already got all the boys all riled up. They're following after you like a pack of dogs with their tongues hanging out. You got you a sweetheart, Nancy? You got you somebody to tell them things you come spying on people to hear?
I'd cut the tongue out of any man who tried to sweet-talk me, the liar.
Well, now, what if you weren't lying? With that fire in your eyes, well, I believe you'd tempt the most God-fearing man, Nancy. Maybe you got you some horns up underneath that bonnet. Or is that a tail I see sticking out from underneath your dress?
If this is how you sweet-talk them gals, I don't see how it works.
I ain't about to sweet-talk you, little Nancy. Now, I got enough troubles as it is, without adding you to the list, that's for sure.
Oh? Jonesy, I could see from a break in the trees, and they're all gone. There weren't a McCoy out there. Or why would they go on home without me? They must have thought I'd left with some of my other kin. It'll be pitch dark any minute, and I don't know a soul in these parts. What am I going to do, Jonesy?
It'll be okay, Roseanne. Don't work yourself up. Did you see any of my folk down there?
No, I think they're all gone, too.
Well, do you think you can show me how to get back to your folks' place?
Not in the dark, I can't. I ain't never traveled over these hills this late.
Well, now I know I can find my way back to West Virginia with my eyes closed. So I guess that's what we ought to do. My folks will take you in, Roseanne. Don't you worry.
And me? Randall McCoy's daughter? They ain't never gonna do it.
Well, now, I know my daddy better than anybody, and you don't like your daddy too well. But he ain't never turned nobody away from his door. Hatfield, McCoy, or Revenue and Spy, even. My folks will take you in, Roseanne. And then, once we get over into West Virginia, there ain't much your pa can say about it, and we'll go ahead and get married. And this here storm we kicked up between us just ain't gonna blow over. Here now, Roseanne. Dry up those tears and come out that pretty hair of yours, because you're about to meet your new in-laws. Oh, they're gonna love you on sight. I just know they will.
Chauncey, I don't think there's a body awake in there. Maybe we should just bide out in the barn till morning.
Now, there ain't no future wife of mine gonna sleep with the cows.
Chauncey, I don't think I want to go in there. I'm scared of devil ants. I ain't never known nobody to be called devil before.
Shoot, Roseanne. Granny give Daddy that name when he weren't more than 8 or 9 years old. He got mixed up with the catamount up on the mountain. He put that old cat to running, and Granny said it'd take the devil himself to make ants back down. And ever since then, everybody's just calling him Devil Ants. It don't mean nothing. So come on, we'll go wake up my mam, and she'll lay out one of her nice feather beds for you. And then I reckon we'll speak to Pap in the morning.
What y'all want to speak to Pap about? And what y'all doing coming in here in the middle of the night like a couple of thieves set on robbing the hen house?
Daddy, this here's Roseanne McCoy. I brung her over from the election grounds in Kentucky.
Ain't I told you, boy, not to go over there and get mixed up in no McCoy troubles? Them election day parties is for Kentuckians, and you ain't got no business being there.
But I ain't mixed up in no trouble, Pap. It's just that Roseanne's folks done went and left her. So I brung her home with me.
You Randall McCoy's oldest, ain't you?
Oldest girl, yes, sir.
And just how'd you come by getting left by your folks?
We was out walking in the woods, and I guess our folks must have thought she done went on home with some of her other kin.
It's all right, Chauncey. I can answer your Pap myself. Mr. Hatfield, Chauncey and I have done spent every minute since this morning inside of one another. And we done come to the conclusion that that's how we want to stay. Inside of one another, I mean.
I brung her home to marry me, Pap. If that's all right with you and Ma'am.
Well, now, I expect that'll sit just fine with the old woman. Anything you want to do, Johnson? Seeing as how you done spent the better part of the day and night with this McCoy girl here and done whatever it is you done. Your man being a religious woman, she'd want you to marry. And now, since I ain't no religious man, it don't matter much to me. But I'll tell you something, boy, and you better pay attention now. Whilst you're living under my roof, you ain't never going to marry no girl of Randall McCoy's. You can't marry in West Virginia till you's 21 without my consent. And if you go off to Kentucky, why, you can just stay there. Well, you can just go live with that pack of McCoys if you also fired up to marry one.
But, Pap, I love her.
All right, Mr. Hatfield. If you won't let Chauncey and me marry, I'll stay right here without marrying him. I don't need no preacher telling me who's my husband and who ain't. Johnson and I done pledged ourselves to one another, and that's good enough for me right now. Maybe later you'll let it stand up and hear the words spoke, but it ain't gonna make no difference. We're already married, Mr. Hatfield. It's done and it can't be undone. And if all I got right now is Chauncey's pledge to me of his body and his soul, well, that's going to have to be enough. We got God's blessing, Mr. Hatfield, even if we ain't got yours.
Well, now, since you got God's blessing, I guess you surely don't need the devil's. Now, you listen to me. Johnson is my firstborn. And as such, he stands to get everything I done worked my fingers to the bone to get. Now, if he was to marry you, and then he was to make you a widow, why, half my land might end up in the hands of your pappy. I just can't let that happen, Roseanne. Your pappy and me ain't had a kind word to say to one another in many a year now. Not since the big war done ripped this valley wide open. Now, since then, I done built up a right respectable lumbering business with my boys. This land was hard won from the Injuns and the speculators, and I ain't about to give it up without a fight. I just want your family to stay on their side of the Tug River, and I'll stay on mine. Now, if my son's done turned your head with some fancy talk about marrying and such, I'm mighty sorry. It seems he's got a weakness for the women. But if you's determined to stay with him, I'll not stop you. Me nor Vice ain't never turned away a body from our table as long as we could put food on it. Now, why don't you go in there and crawl into bed with the old woman? She's just in that first room there. And don't you worry about waking her either, because you ain't going to. Vice works herself so hard every day, it's like she's done gone to her grave when she finally does lay down. Well, go on now. Got some words I want to say to Chauncey.
Pap, now I know you think I've been drinking again, but I swear I ain't had but a drop out of Uncle Ellison's jug.
Ellison, we're over there. Flirting with them Kentucky women, I expect. And he with a wife and small children.
Uncle Ellison's a mighty good man, Pa. And there ain't nobody, excepting you, who can beat him with a rifle. It don't seem like he's learned a thing about staying away from the women.
It don't seem like his nephew has either.
Oh, now, Pap, I admit to liking the women and all, but I ain't never sired no woods colt like Uncle Ellison has. Why, Cotton-Top
Ain't nobody ever proved that boy is Ellison's son.
But, Daddy, everybody knows Cotton-Top is. I mean, his mammy even give him the name of Ellison. Now, why would she go and give him Uncle Ellison's name if Ellison weren't a daddy?
Well, ain't nobody calls him by that name. And that boy's hair, that's as white as a new snowfall. Now, where do you ever get a head of hair like that and them light eyes? It wasn't from no Hatfield side of the family, I can tell you that.
I don't know. Maybe his mammy were scared by something when she was a-carrying the baby. It's something so bad that it turned the baby's hair white and stiff.
I don't know. He ain't a bad youngin', though. He'll do for you if you ask him. Yeah, he'll do for you.
Why, Daddy, I don't believe there ain't nothing Cotton-Top wouldn't do for you. Well, I believe he licked the horse shit off the bottom of your boots when you came in from the barn if you wanted him to.
You hush your mouth. I ain't gonna ask that boy to do nothing like that. But I am gonna ask you to do something. Don't you ever bring up to me again about marrying that Roseanne McCoy in there. You hear?
But, Daddy, I don't know if I can promise that I won't. It's going to tear me up something awful if you send her away.
I'll not send her away, boy, as long as you promise not to bring up Marion again. I ain't going to have it. You hear me? I ain't going to put that damn false-talking Union spy Randall McCoy in no position to take my land right out from underneath me. Now, you may think you can sneak off to Kentucky and have some circuit-riding preacher speak the words over you. But you marry her against me, boy, and you was without a home.
But you'll let her stay, won't you, Pap? I mean, you won't decide one day to send her away, will you?
I'll not send her away, boy, as long as she wants to be here. But you mark my words. Them McCoys is going to be coming over here for too long to bring her on home. But if she don't want to go, I ain't going to make her.
And she ain't going to want to go, Pap. Me and Roseanne, we'll wait out this trouble between you and Randall. People do mend their opinions of one another.
I don't know, son. I don't think Randall's ever going to get by thinking I killed his brother Asa.
But you didn't do it, did you, Daddy?
I knowed about it.
But you didn't do it, did you?
There's some folks say Jim Vance did it.
But you were Uncle Jim's captain.
I were. But that were a mighty long time ago. And I did not come out here to discuss old bones. It's better left where they is. During a time of war, men do what they have to do to get by. We was protecting our homes and our families. That's all I got to say about that. Now, You and me got some business to take care of. That is, if you ain't planning on heading off to no more Kentucky parties.
No, sir. Now, I know the mash needs stirring, and I'll get up there and do it tomorrow. When you figure it'll be ready to work off?
Well, I guess in a day or two we'll put her through and get us some whiskey. Now, you and me better get some rest before old Charlie starts his cock-a-doodle-doing and waking up the whole dang countryside. Since Roseanne's done moved in with my wife in the bed, I guess you and I are going to have to go sleep with the boys.
Well, Pa, I sure am tired.
You know, I'll tell you one thing about that Roseanne of yours, though. She's got spirit.
And purty. Ain't she purty, though?
Yeah, son, she's about as purty as they come. Well, you got about as good an eye for women as you do for horses.
I just knew you'd like her, Pa. I just knew you would.
Honey, why don't you go on home now? Ain't your ma'am going to be worried about you being gone all day?
Miss Roseanne, how come you call me Ellison when everybody else calls me Cotton Top?
Ellison's your name, honey. Cotton Top ain't nothing but a nickname. Just like Devil Anse is a nickname. I don't think I like them made-up names too much. Seems like most of them just makes fun of people.
Is Romeo a nickname? I heard some of them men called another one Romeo down at the store the other day.
Romeo was the fellow we learned about at school. He were a romancer, I reckon, who talked fancy about love and such. Who was it you heard them call Romeo?
Why weren't nobody but Chauncey Hatfield?
Well, now, I reckon that's one nickname that fits, ain't it?
Miss Roseanne, let me put a plait in your hair. My mommy done taught me how to do it good.
A boy ain't supposed to be messing around with a woman's hair, Ellison.
Oh, please, Miss Roseanne, I know how to do it good. I swear I do.
Well, all right. I need to sit and rest a bit anyway.
Oh, Miss Roseanne, you have about the prettiest hair I ever did see. You need some ribbons is all.
Well, then, I'll have to ask my sister Alifair for some next time I see her. She's got her all kinds of ribbons and bows.
Alifair, got her some bows. Alifair, and pretty white clothes. Alifair, won't you come home?
Well, now, ain't this a purty sight?
Purty, Chauncey, why, Miss Roseanne's about the prettiest woman I ever did see.
And what about you, Chauncey? Who's the prettiest woman you ever did see? Was she the one you spent the night with?
Why, Roseanne, honey, you falsely accused me of being with another woman when I was out with my brother Cap, drinking the better part of last night in Logan.
Cap come in long about midnight.
Well, now, I stayed on in town is all. Roseanne, you're beginning to sound an awful lot like a jealous wife.
Fancy that.
I didn't mean nothing by it.
But I ain't your wife, and I ain't got no more claim on you than that woman in Logan, or any of them other ones you was courting before me. Or maybe you're still courting them.
Somebody's been telling you tales, Rosie.
My ma'am says that if the dead could speak, the lives of the living would surely be revealed.
See, Cotton Top, I always thought you got your smarts from Uncle Ellison. But now, I find out it's your ma'am after all. It's awfully quiet around here. Where is everybody?
Some of them is down in the fields, and some of them is up on the ridge cutting timber with your pa. He was looking for you this morning, and I think Cap told him some tale, so you two better get it straight. Your ma'am's up visiting with Aunt Jenny.
Roseanne, you mean to tell me that there ain't nobody here but us chickens?
Chauncey, why you going calling us chickens? A chicken is a scaredy cat, and I ain't scared of nothing.
Why, Cotton Top, I know you're tough. Why, I think you'd kill a man. As soon as I look at him, I swear I do.
You hush, Chauncey, and don't you be trying to rile little Ellison here.
Rile him? Why, this little boy's going to turn into a little girl if he don't watch out. You better quit messing around with women's hair, Cotton Top, or the next thing you know, you'll be putting on your mammy's dress and her Sunday go-to-meeting hat.
I will not. My mommy don't even have a Sunday go-to-meeting hat.
Hush now, Ellison. You go on inside, and I'll come in a minute and make you something to eat.
Will you make me some mush with some milk and butter on it?
Yes, honey, I will. Go on now. You and Devil Ann seem hell-bent on turning that boy into a wild thing, and I don't rightly know why.
Roseanne, honey, Cotton Top's going to have to look out for himself one of these days. And being Uncle Ellison's woods colt and all, he's going to have a hard row to hoe. The sooner he toughens up, the better. Oh, now, Roseanne, I don't know what it is about you, but I'm just like Cotton Top. I want to preen and pet and fuss all over you all day long.
And what about the nights, Chauncey? What about all them nights you ain't here? Who you preening and fussing over then?
Well, God almighty, how am I supposed to kiss on you and do all those other things that I want to do when there's so many of us piled up in that house in there, can't breathe? There's so many galling Hatfields in there sucking up all the air. I gotta get away sometimes, Roseanne. Now, if you and me had a place of our own, don't mean nothing, Roseanne. Sometimes I can get to drinking a little bit too much, and there always seems to be a woman who has her eye on me. It don't mean nothing. Hell, I'm only 19-year-old. And not too damn smart, I guess. I love you, Roseanne. Only you. God knows I do.
Roseanne, it's your brothers, Tolbert and Famer. They're coming up after you, and this time they mean to make you come on home with them. There'll be trouble if you don't. Nancy, honey, you cross that river all by yourself? Lord, child, you scare me sometimes, the chances you take. And you didn't even have to, either. I knowed them boys was coming, and I knowed I was going with them when they got here, too.
Roseanne, what are you talking about? You're my woman, and here with me is where you belong.
Chauncey, I may be your woman in one respect, but in another, I ain't nothing but your whore. This here ain't my family, and there's nobody here going to love me like my people do over there across that river. They're waiting for me to come on home now, and there ain't never going to be no peace in this valley until I do. Your daddy ain't moved an inch in his opinion of mine. He ain't never going to either. Chauncey, I'm going to have a baby. I got to get on home now and be with my man. Your daddy ain't never going to let us get married, and it ain't right for me to stay on here any longer.
Roseanne, what are you talking about? What baby?
Chauncey, now you listen to me. I got to get home now and be with my man. Even though this child's half yours, your daddy ain't never going to let you claim it nor give it no help in this world. My people might. I don't know for sure, but I think they might. Nancy, can that old nag of yours hold us both?
She's mighty tired, but I think she can.
Well then, I'll just come on with you and maybe we can head off Tolbert and Famer before they get over here and start a fuss. I'll just go get my things. I didn't come with much. And I ain't leaving with much either.
Well, I'd say she is leaving with quite a lot after all, Chauncey. Along with that baby you done give her. Well, I'd say she's got a pack full of troubles. Why, she looks 10 years older than the last time I seen her.
Well, you is just as smart-mouthed as ever, little Nancy. Now, what business is it of yours to come all the way over here, anyway?
I don't know. All of Roseanne's brothers been mighty riled up since she came to live with you. They's all kind of ashamed because you won't marry her. And they's bringing guns with them this time, and they mean to make her come home even if she don't want to.
Well, now, like I said, what business is that of yours?
I don't know. None, I guess. Are you all right?
Nancy, just why are you here? This ain't the first time you come over here, supposedly to see Roseanne, and making eyes at me.
Let me go.
Are you over there stirring up trouble with them McCoys, or will you just leave it alone? Me and Roseanne, we're gonna work this out. I ain't been the best for her, and her brother's got a right to be riled over it. But I've been thinking, and I'm gonna stop drinking. Look, this drink's knocked me down so I can't hardly stay up. Roseanne, wait.
You can just save your breath, Chauncey. I done made up my mind to go on home now, and I'm going. Nancy, go get that old nag of yours some water, and I'll be there directly. Bye, Chauncey.
Roseanne.
Johnson Hatfield, you take your hands off of me. You can't go over and lay with some woman in Logan, holding her and running these hands all over her body, and then come back by the light of day to run them same hands over me. You think I can't smell her on you? Makes me sick. But I'm weak, Chauncey. And when you look at me with such pleading in your eyes, and you need me, I can't never say no to you. And that's why I'm going as much as anything else. Because I can't never say no. And that's the first word a little baby learns, Chauncey. It ain't Mammy. It ain't Pappy. It's no. Because you're always telling a baby to stay away from things that might hurt it. But when you look at me, Chauncey, with those eyes, and I know you're going to hurt me, I done forgot what it was that I first learned as a child. I seen the Hatfield men coming up from the hills, so we best get going. I don't know if I'll see you again, Chauncey.
I'll come over and see you real soon. I swear I will.
You better not come. I've been studying the signs with your ma'am, and I'm scared to death of what the future's bringing on to us. Goodbye, Chauncey.
Miss Roseanne, you say you was gonna make me some cornmeal mush.
You know I did, Ellison, honey. But I gotta go on home now, and I can't. You run along and ask your mommy to make you some mush. You gotta let me go now, honey. You gotta go on home.
Chauncey, where's Miss Roseanne going?
Oh, boy. Which is where you should have gone a long time ago. Now get!
Miss Roseanne!
Chauncey? Chauncey, are you here yet? It's me, Chauncey.
Why, Roseanne? You look fine. I hear you've been sick.
Just a mite tired since the baby came. Aunt Jenny's been over helping me since my ma'am...
I heard your dad won't let her come see you. I heard you've been living with your Aunt Betty over in Stringtown. That's when I first started sending them letters over. But you never answered any of them.
I thought it were best if you never set foot in Kentucky again. But now that the baby's been born, I don't know. Did you make it over the river all right?
Shoot. That tug's mighty high. The horse had to swim part the way. I'll have a mess of it going back.
Maybe you ought not stay too long.
Now, don't be talking like that. I just got here. Sure was hoping you'd bring that baby up.
I told Aunt Jenny to bring her up after a bit, so I expect she will.
I sure do miss you, Roseanne. I feel kind of awkward, like since I ain't seen you in so long. Like I don't know how to talk to you.
I know.
I sure was hoping to see that baby.
They'll be along, I expect.
You listen to me. Why don't you just come on home with me tonight? That there's Devil Ance's first grandchild. I believe he's softening a little bit. I really do. He asked me how you were doing the other day, and if the baby had been born yet. He's taking a shine to you like he ain't never taken to nobody.
I know he come to like me, but that don't matter much anymore. I'm over here with my people, and you're over there with yours. Besides, Chauncey, from what I've been hearing, you ain't been too lonely. Somebody told me you'd been walking out with my cousin Nancy.
Hell, Roseanne, she's always coming over and hanging around the place. Listen to me. You gotta come on home with me tonight. It's awful there without you. I can't stand to be around my own kin. I drink too much just to forget about it. But I've been sober 2 days now knowing I was coming to see you. I keep thinking about how after I'd been pulling that old saw all day long, we'd sit down in front of the fireplace and take each one of my fingers and rub them one by one. Sometimes them fingers ache so much, Roseanne, the liquor's the only thing will make them stop.
We'll get him, boys. Don't you worry. When we do, John Hatfield's going to find himself in the Pike County jail.
Well, if we don't have an accident before we get there...
Chauncey, that's my brother's coming up the hill.
Shoot, Roseanne, I got so many warrants out in Kentucky for whiskey and weapons that I could do time for sure.
He's probably followed me up here, and they'll come straight here.
Roseanne, I made up my mind just now. I ain't leaving without you. I can't.
You gotta go, Chauncey, and go now. They're going the wrong way, Chauncey. You got a chance. I'll go head them off.
No, Roseanne, honey, don't go. I ain't got nothing without you. Nothing. I hate to see the sun come up every day. I swear I do.
Chauncey, don't say that. Don't say it.
I can't tell you like I want to. I'm just grabbing at the words, and they're getting away from me. Listen, if you come back, it'll be different. I'm going to quit drinking. That's always been what's gotten me into trouble. I got a real family I got to think about now. And I got to start doing right by you.
For God's sake, Chauncey, go. If I promise to come to you, will you go?
No, I want you to come with me now.
You're going to get killed by my brothers if you stay here. Do you want me to see that? I can't stand all this fussing and fighting. I can't stand it. If you have ever loved me, you'll turn around and leave right now. If you have ever loved me, you'll turn around and not ever look back.
Will you come to me?
Yes, now go. Go, Chauncey, go.
Why, Chauncey Hatfield. Fancy meeting you on this side of the Cog River. We boys we got us a warrant for your arrest. Said that we could carry a silk weapon and sell it bootleg with the hands of weapon made on it. That's a federal offense, son.
No! No! Somebody!
That's you? What ails you, child? Where'd you come from?
From over at Stringtown. I come to tell you they got Chauncey.
Who's got Chauncey?
My brothers. Chauncey came over to see me and the babies, and I guess they found out about it. They arrested him on some old warrants. My brother Jim's a deputy sheriff. I guess he got the others to go along with him.
Cotton Top! Cotton Top, I want you to go to the barrel in the back and get Miss Rosanny a cup of water. If you see Vicy back there, I don't want you to tell her just yet that Miss Rosanny's here, all right?
All right, Aquarius, I won't.
I can't stay. I left the baby with Aunt Betty, and I stole that old horse I'm riding. She was out to pasture, and I just jumped on her and come on.
You rode her bareback all them miles? And that river as high as it is? Miss Rosanna, you must be plumb tore up. Why don't you let Vicey fix you up a bed for the night, and we'll get you home in the morning.
I can't stay. I got to get the horse back, and I got to get back to my baby.
Cotton-Top, I believe you's as dumb as a post. Now, why didn't you get one of them cups hanging there by the barrel and get this girl a decent draught?
It's all right, Ellison, honey. This'll do me just fine.
Cotton-Top, I want you to go down to Jim Vance's and tell him that Johnsey's in trouble in Kentucky. Okay? And to round up the boys and bring them back here. He'll know what to do. And I want you to take War. He's saddled up and he'll get you there quicker than the rest of them will.
I can't take over Uncle Hans. Everybody knows you's the only one who can ride him.
You get down on that horse, boy. We got a lot of ground to cover before morning, and I don't want to hear no more back talk, you hear?
I gotta go. I've done my duty by Johnsey, and that's all I come to do.
Now, Miss Rosanna, I can't let you leave without you resting a bit.
Well, I'll sit for a minute or two. But I gotta get that horse back, and I gotta get back to my baby. She's probably over yonder bawling her little eyes out right now, wondering where Mama went.
Well, now. Me and old Randall. He's grandpaps, I reckon.
It ain't sitting too well with him.
Well, I expect it ain't. I ain't too sure how I feel about it either. Is it a man-child or a woman-child?
It's a girl, baby. And I named her Elizabeth.
That's a mighty big name for such a little young'un. How's about if I call her Bethy?
That'd be all right, I guess.
Well, now, does Bethy look like a Hatfield, or does she favor her mam's side?
She's fair like my dad, but God love her, I think she's going to have the Hatfield nose.
Well, God will have to love her then, because a woman with a Hatfield nose is going to have a hard time finding a man that will.
Devil Ann, are you and my pa ever going to make right with each other?
No, child. I expect it's done gone on too long now. I'm willing to let bygones be bygones, but your pap sure ain't. Now, I ain't got nothing against you, Rosanna, but I can't trust your pappy as far as from here to that fence post. I don't know about that child of yours and Johnsey's either. It would have been better, I guess, if it were never born. It's going to have a hard time finding a place in Kentucky and in West Virginia, too. Why, it's going to have a hard time finding a place at all in this old world.
She ain't an it. Her name is Elizabeth, and she's done found herself a good home over in Stringtown with me and Aunt Betty. We're going to raise her up to be a good little girl, I hope. One who ain't got a bad word to say against anybody. She's such a sweet child. And I guess it don't show just yet that she comes from some of the orneriest stock on God's green earth. And I got a message I want you to give Johnsey. You tell him I ain't coming back to live with him amongst the Hatfields, even though I gave him my word I'd do it. I'm a McCoy, you tell him. And that means I can't be trusted anyway. Now, ain't that right?
Now, Miss Rosanna, I didn't mean to put you off about that there baby.
You just spoke plainly what it was you was truly thinking. I know how you feel about it. Now you know how I feel about it, too.
What is it, boy? Did you get down to Vance's already? I said, what is it, boy?
That horse liked to throw me off before I could get down the hill.
Did you make it, boy?
That horse is rearing and a-dancing.
Cotton-Top, I'm going to skin you alive if you didn't do what I told you to do.
I didn't need to go all the way. Uncle Jim and them see Miss Rosanna coming. They was already headed up here to see what the trouble was.
Vicey? Vicey, where you at? I got to get me something to eat. I'm going to Kentucky to get our boy. Johnson, you better get up and go in there and calm down your wife. She's about to get into it with Vicey again over that baby of yours.
I can't do nothing about her, Pap. She's headstrong, like all them McCoy women is.
Well, you better do something.
Johnson Hatfield, you get in there and talk to your ma'am and tell her to quit feeding that black draught to my child. She is going to kill that baby, sure as the world.
Nancy, my mama's done raised all 13 of us on that black draught. Took it once a week regular. Ain't never killed none of us yet.
Well, fine and dandy. You can just get up off your lazy butt and clean up the mess that young'un makes all over its bed after a dose of that medicine.
Whoo-wee, boy. You gonna let a woman talk to you like that? And before you know it, she's gonna have you in that apron scrubbing on the floors.
He's my husband, for better or worse, and I'll talk to him any way I want. Besides, just look at him. A sorrier critter never was born, and talking to him any which way ain't gonna make no difference. Why, aunts, I do believe Chauncey's gonna drink up all your profits.
That little whiskey ain't gonna hurt him. All right, boy. You done had your drop, and you had your dinner. Now get up there on that ridge and finish topping off that timber with the rest of them.
In a minute, Pap. I'm going.
I said now.
I done married me a fine specimen of a man.
It were your choice. I expect you knew what you was doing.
Well, you didn't seem to have any objections at the time. Just 'cause I ain't got no daddy like Roseanne's to get a hold of my land. Just 'cause you killed my daddy before I was even born.
You hush your mouth. Don't you talk, little girl, about things you don't know nothing about.
I know what everybody says. I know you let Chauncey marry me when you wouldn't let him marry Roseanne, 'cause you felt guilty as hell about what you done to my family a long time ago.
Well, them everybody's you've been talking to is mostly McCoys. And Yankee bastards to boot. I don't feel guilty about nothing I did as a captain in the Confederate Army. I done my duties, all I know. Besides, you's a woman. You don't know nothing about what can happen in a time of war.
I know some people use any excuse to do some things. That's what I know.
And what excuse did you use to get my boy, huh? Hanging around here till you's in the family way. That's a 6-month baby you done birthed in there. And now you're fixing to bring us a new mouth to feed for the year's out.
And I wish to God I wasn't putting another little baby in the middle of this God-forsaken family. If I could cut it out of my guts, I would.
They done killed my daddy. They done killed him, and now he's dead. My daddy.
Which daddy? Your ma'am's husband or my brother?
Daddy, hey, Daddy, Floyd's coming up this way. He said that 3 of Roseanne's brothers have done jumped Uncle Ellison on the other side of the river. They say he's going to be dead by the time they can get him across.
They stabbed him. They shot him. They stabbed him.
Johnson, I want you to go up on that ridge as fast as you can and bring back who's ever up there. I'll get the ones out back. Boys, grab your firearms and your ammunition. We're going to Kentucky. We're going to Kentucky. Hunting for McCoys.
Shoot. You're itching to kill you and McCoy, so why don't you just go ahead and do it?
Don't worry. I ain't too trigger-happy just yet.
Devil Anse, I've come over here on my own to ask you to give my brothers up. My pappy nor none of the others know I've come. I think every Kentucky sheriff must be a no-good coward to let you steal them from justice.
Justice? This is the only place they's gonna find justice for the murder of my brother.
They didn't but wound Ellison, and he may recover yet.
Well, if he recovers, I'll not keep them boys one day more.
And if he don't? I know they can get to be troublesome if they've had some liquor in them, but they ain't bad. They don't deserve to die like dogs. You can't keep them much longer anyway. The governor's done sent word that he wants those boys brought back into Kentucky, and he's hired some Flatlander detectives to come over here and do it. There's bounty hunters meeting over in Pikeville.
I ain't worried about no detectives, nor no bounty hunters either. They ain't gonna find them.
Devil Anse, they jumped your brother. Everybody knows what they've done. But it don't give you the right to come over here and take them away to God knows where so that you can starve them and beat on them.
Ain't nobody starving. Them boys is doing just fine. And I ain't let a man put a hand on them. Yet.
If I could beg you, I would. If I could fall down on my knees, I'd do it. But they won't bend. No matter how hard I try, I can't beg for them. I can't ask you to do the right thing before God. It's only to him I'll get down on my knees to and ask him to strike you dead before you harm a hair on their head.
Before I harm a hair on their heads? You come here asking this when I'm sitting there waiting to hear any minute that my brother has done gone over yonder where we's all going someday? And don't you talk to me about God and doing the right thing by him. I done got my message from the good book itself. He that smiteth a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. Pikeville is McCoy territory, run by your pappy. Them boys is about as likely to get a fair trial there as a hog is to lay a hen egg.
Do you think you can kill my brothers and not pay for it with your own life? There'll be lawmen over here after you as soon as your dirty deed is done.
Well, I never said I would kill them. You have mistaken my words.
Now you're playing tricks on me, just like a devil always does.
In fact, even if my brother does die, them boys is already set to go back. And I'll wager that they's alive when they hit Kentucky soil.
But for how long? How long will you let them stand on that ground before it's splattered with their own blood? You can stand there and tell me you'll deliver them alive to the other side of the river, but I know they'll never see their home no more. And you're going to kill my baby brother, who ain't but a child yet.
Child? That boy's as tall as Johnsy. And what about my baby brother, huh? You want to go over there and see what that child done to him? You want to see his shirt and count the times the knife come through it? His blood's been seeping out of him for 3 days now. And I'd like to put a bullet through him myself to stop the suffering.
I ain't asking that nothing be done. I'm asking for you to let the right thing be done is all.
Well, I know what the right thing is. And I don't need no judge, nor jury, nor my son's whore to tell me what it is I already know.
Roseanne, what are you doing here?
They're dead, Johnsy. My brothers are dead.
Who's that? Don't you be pointing no firearm at me. I ain't a Hatfield nor a McCoy. I ain't a Tolliver nor a Blankenship neither. And I wouldn't be a Johnson for nothing in the world. I ain't a Martin, and I ain't a...
Hey, Jenny, it's me.
Well, now, who's you?
It's me, Cotton Top.
Cotton Top? Well, little Cotton Top. What are you doing up in the great big woods this time of night?
I come looking for you, Aunt Jenny, and I found you, too.
Well, so you did, child. Cotton Top, can you remember why it was you was looking for me?
Oh, Aunt Jenny, Miss Roseanne McCoy's awful sick, just awful sick.
Yes, I know. You've been sneaking into Kentucky to see her?
Yes, ma'am, but it don't do no good. She's just awful sick. I come up here to find you so you can make her feel better.
Well, that girl's done suffered too many losses in her life for me to make her better. Some people can only stand so much. Losing her brothers last year and then that little child of hers on top of that. Only thing to make Roseanne's sickness away is if and I could bring all them people back. There ain't nobody in this here world can do that. Aw, Cotton Top, honey. I'll ask Roseanne's Aunt Betty if and she can come and stay with me for a while, and I'll see what I can do for her, all right? But I ain't promising nothing, child. Okay. Oh, that sounds like Nancy McCoy. Oh, Lord have mercy, I mean Hatfield. Ain't gonna be no peace for me tonight, I guess. I'm over this away.
Aunt Jenny, I've been looking all up and down this holler for you. What are you doing away up here?
Well, I would be looking for some ginseng. If everybody leave me alone and let me get about my business. Only got one night a month to go singing when the moon is up and full, and I ain't even found one root yet.
Well, I hope you don't need no sang to mix me up a potion for my youngest. He's got something sucking the wind out of him, and I come up here to see if you can fix him so he can breathe easier. Cotton Top, what are you doing hiding behind Aunt Jenny's skirts?
I ain't hiding.
Cotton Top's mighty worried about your cousin Roseanne since she lost that little child of hers and then her brother's getting killed and buried not all that long ago.
Why, Cotton Top, she'll be all right. Everybody thinks Roseanne's so refined and delicate. But that's just something that she puts on every day like her bonnet. She's just mad because that child was keeping Chauncey coming over to see her. But he won't come no more now that it's dead.
Why ain't we dead more than a few hours before I seen Johnson heading over Kentucky to find Miss Roseanne? I seen him going over there about every day since...
Liar! That white hair of yours done drawn out every bit of sense you might have once had. You get worse every year, dumber and blinder. That weren't Johnson Hatfield you seen over there, and don't you tell me that it was. But now, Cotton Top, honey, there is something I think you know about, and I want you to tell me if you do. Just what are them men planning for New Year's night? I know there's something up, and I want you to tell me what it is.
I don't know nothing. I swear I don't. And Johnson said even if I told somebody I knew something, that I didn't know nothing. He said he'd whoop me.
Now, Cotton Top, I already know a lot of it. I just want you to tell me if what I know is true or not. That won't be the same as telling me right out. Now, I know them Hatfield boys are going over to Kentucky this Saturday night. New Year's night, ain't they? And they're going over there because they aim to kidnap Aunt Sally and make Uncle Randall call off them hired guns he keeps sending over here looking for Hatfields. And then, well, they're going to put poison down Randall's well and set fire to his barn. And the last thing they're going to do is go over to Stringtown and drag that adulterer, Roseanne McCoy, out of bed and ride her through the streets tied to the back of an old buckboard wagon.
They is not. They ain't going to do that to Miss Roseanne. They ain't going to go anywhere near Stringtown.
But they is going near Uncle Randall's, ain't they? In fact, that's where they're going, ain't it?
Yes'm.
Now, why do you suppose they's going there?
'Cause they's gonna teach old Randall a lesson and make him stop sending them detectives over here bothering everybody.
Why, just like I said.
They's gonna teach him a lesson, but good.
And how do you suppose they're gonna do that?
Oh, I don't know, but they's is.
Well, I'll tell you something, Cotton Top Mounts. If them bastard Hatfields hurt one hair on the heads of my cousins over there in Kentucky, I'm personally going to take my daddy's old Indian knife and scalp every one of them. And I'm going to start with you. Now, Aunt Jenny, why don't you come back up to your cabin with me and hunt me up something for that baby of mine? Them clouds done come up over that moon, and you ain't never going to find no ginseng tonight. In fact, it's getting so dark that you can't see what's in front of you or behind you. And on my way over here, I seen the biggest boogeyman ever was. Anybody who don't go right home whilst they got the chance ain't never going to get there tonight. That boogeyman is going to find him. I heard he don't even leave so much as a finger bone when he's through gobbling you up.
You get on home now, child. Nothing's gonna get you, I promise. Here, you take my walking stick. It'll protect you. Go on, child. Now get. Now, Miss Nancy McCoy Hatfield, I want to tell you something, young missy. No soul orders me about these hills. I decide where I'll go and when. And I decide who will make a potion for and who I won't. Now, I'll mix up something for that child of yours, because it is a child. I didn't choose who to get born to. Pick up that sack. I'm tired of carrying it. Keep the top shut tight, though. Got me a big old rattler in there. Wouldn't want him to get out and take a bite out of you. Why? That'd poison him for sure.
What you doing out there, boy?
Nothing, Pap. Just waiting for you is all.
Well, you ain't gonna find me in there. And I'll tell you another thing you ain't gonna find. The old woman puts up every drop of whiskey if she thinks you're gonna be within spitting distance of this place. You had any liquor tonight, boy?
No, sir. I came over here right after supper, just like you said.
Y'all, I'll give you a drop or two when you get back with the boys. You all set on where you're meeting them?
Yes, sir. Over near Mate's Creek, near the rocks where Grandpa first settled in. There's some fellers coming up from Horsepen and some coming over from Red Jacket. So it's kind of middling ground.
You all settled on the kind of message I want sent to that Kentucky bastard?
You want us to scare him a little, I reckon.
I want you to do more than scare the old son of a bitch. I want you to make sure he don't come around here no more stirring up trouble.
You don't reckon we gotta kill him, do you?
No, I don't reckon you got to kill him. And you think the dog ought to go free, wandering around the countryside, pissing here and there on everything that belongs to a Hatfield, on every person that is a Hatfield, and on every place where a Hatfield might want to settle down and bide peaceful like. No, I think you ought to walk right on up to him and shake his hand and ask him real nice like to call off his posses and his Flatlander detectives that's coming around here every damn day so I can't walk about my property without some varmints trying to jump me. I tell you, boy, I am sick and I'm tired of that bastard Randall McCoy wandering around a free man whilst we got so many warrants trumped up against us we can't hardly move. And I'm tired of your man looking out the window at night, asking God for help. I don't need God's help when I know rightly what to do and how to do it. When them boys of his was put down for killing my brother, he should have accepted that as justice done, just like the rest of them did. Them boys was no good. He didn't raise them up right like I done you and your brother Cap and the rest of them. You know what's right from wrong. And it ain't right for him to keep coming around here harassing me till a man can't do what he has to do to feed his family. Well, I'm aiming to put a stop to it right now. I sent Cap down to Jim Vance's earlier, so I expect you can meet up with the two of them on your way. If I thought I could make it into Kentucky and back, I'd go with you.
You still ain't got no war throwing you, Pap. So you just best stay on home. Who's there? You better say real quick who's there. I'll blow your damn head off.
Don't shoot me, Chauncey. I am McCoy. I hate the McCoys as much as you do. If I had me a gun right now, I'd kill every one of them. Except for Miss Roseanne. But she can't really be McCoy now, can she? I think she would have fight fast. Oh, them are so bad. She's so good. She can't really be McCoy now, can she? They done treated her so wrong. Not like Kim ought to treat Kim. If I had me a gun right now, I'd kill every one of them for what they done to Miss Roseanne.
Why? What have they done to Roseanne?
They turned their backs on her and left her all alone. And now she ain't got nobody. She says it ain't her man's fault, but old Randall won't let anyone come see her all these years saying she shamed herself with you. And now she's awful sick and won't let anyone come to her.
I know, Cotton Top.
And she needs a man to comb her hair out. She won't let me do it like she used to, and it's getting awful tangled.
I've got something I've got to do, and I'm going to go make sure she's all right.
I know what you're going to do, and I'm going to help you do it. I'm going to help you kill old Randall McCoy.
Now, there ain't nobody killing nobody tonight, you hear? Now, you just get on home.
Why does everybody always tell me to go on home? Even Miss Roseanne. Go on home. Go on home. I ain't going.
You are too going. Or I'll tan your hide so bad you won't sit for a week.
I ain't going. And Johnson can't get over to Kentucky without me taking him. I done let all the horses out of the barn and let them run out the holler.
You Cotton Top, I'd have string you up sometimes. I swear I would. Now, I have to get over to Mates Creek. That's 5 miles or more. And you done let out all the horses?
I brought Bobby my mule, but you know he won't move an inch for anybody but me, so you just gotta let me come with you, Johnson.
Cotton Top, why can't you for once in your life do something with a little bit of sense in it?
Here now. If what he says is true, you better get on that old mule and get you a fresh horse when you get to the meeting place. Cotton Top, I ought to skin you alive for letting those horses out. And that's exactly what I'm going to do if every one of them don't come back by morning. You hear me?
I won't do it again, Uncle Ed. I just hear them boys is going over Kentucky, and I just had to go with them.
Well, you're going. So get on now. Although she's on the wane, ought to be enough moon coming up to light your way without any torches. So you better get on now.
I don't know if I'll see you in the morning, Daddy.
I'll see you. Don't you worry. I'll see you.
listen to me. There ain't nobody killing nobody tonight, you hear? We're going over to Randall's to give him a little scare, and that's it. I ain't letting none of the boys fire on the house. That's the beginning and the end of it. And I want you to stay right beside me, all the way into Kentucky, and all the way out, you hear? Said, you hear me? Don't shoot, Daddy. It's me, Johnson.
You been shot, boy?
That damn full horse they give me like they reared at the first blast. Like they took my head off.
Here.
Well, it's all out of the bag now, Daddy. I think Cap done went and killed Alifair McCoy.
Randall's girl? I thought I told you, boys, I didn't want none of them women hurt. I told you and I told you.
Well, none of it happened like we planned it, Daddy. Well, whilst we was shooting up over the house, just to scare him a little, Cap, he runs up with a torch and he sets the dang thing on fire. And Randall's wife, Sally, and all the kids commenced to screaming, and Alifair ran out the back to the well with the bucket. And Cap, I don't know what happened to him, Daddy. He just went crazy and he shot her. And Sally was coming out right behind Alifair. So I jumped in between her and Cap, and I knocked her down. Daddy, I was afraid he was going to shoot her, too. And the rest of the boys just started firing on the house, and there wasn't nothing I could do to stop them. Sally tried to get back up, so I knocked her back down. I think I hurt her something awful bad, but she was still moving when I jumped back on my horse. Alifair, she was just laying there with the blood all around her. Everybody scattered to the four winds, Daddy. I don't know where most of them is. I met up with some just before we crossed the river, but we split up again on the other side. I told them to lay low until they heard something from you.
You know where Cap went?
Further up the holler. Maybe he's up at Aunt Jenny's. I don't know. What are we going to do about him, Daddy?
As soon as we're sure the law ain't trailing you, we'll go up and find him.
Are you sure Alifair were dead? She were dead, Daddy. Just seeing her laying there in the snow, it made my blood go cold. It's snowing over there in Kentucky, Daddy. I don't know why it ain't snowing over here. I was riding Uncle Jim's horse, Sassafras, and I don't think she likes the snow too well. She went spooky the minute it started to come down, like something were like following her, spooking her all the way. She danced me all the way down to the river, and then once we crossed over, I looked back over into Kentucky, and I could see it coming down. But it were like a picture in a book, Daddy. Not like it were real at all. Alifair, she were like a doll, just laying there in her white dress with the snow falling all around her. I reached down to help her up, Daddy, to get her back to the house. But then I noticed where I reached in for her hand, there wasn't no hand there at all. And Daddy Cap had done blown her hand clean off, and he killed her. I don't know why he did it, but she's dead.
All right.
He killed her.
All right.
She was dead.
Are you sure it were Cap?
It were Cap, Daddy. It were
I didn't raise no boys who kill an unarmed girl. McCoy or no? Are you sure it were Cap?
Daddy, it were Cap. Alifair seen him just before he shot her. She said his name just before he done it. Then maybe that's why he did it. Because you said not to let any of the McCoys see any of us. You were dead, Daddy.
Girl couldn't have been more than 18 or 19-year-old. It weren't Cap. I didn't raise no boys who kill an unarmed girl.
But Daddy, it were Cap. The only other person it could have been were Cotton-Top. And he can't hit a quilt hanging on a wash line at 20 feet. And you know it. He's about as blind as a newborn kitten.
Did Cotton-Top have a gun?
He had a pistol.
Did he fire his pistol?
Well, even if he did, Daddy, you were out of range. Alifair were killed by no pistol, Daddy. It were a shotgun for sure. I heard it.
At all that shooting, you heard the one shot that killed that girl?
But Daddy, it just couldn't have been Cotton-Top. It just couldn't have been.
Somebody's pride. The day is not far distant when I'll be somebody's bride.
Cotton-Top.
Somebody's darling. Somebody's
Cotton-Top.
bride. Day is not far distant when I'll be somebody's bride. I'm somebody's darling.
Where'd you get this boy?
I'm somebody's bride.
I said, where'd you get this boy?
A girl give it to me, Uncle Hans. Well, I swear I didn't steal it. Well, she were asleep, but she still knew I took it. She said she didn't need it no more and I could take it.
Did you get this from Alifair McCoy?
Alifair?
I said, did you take this ribbon from Alifair McCoy?
I don't know her name. She never told me. She were asleep, and one hand was resting on her chest, and the other one...
I thought you said he weren't close to her.
He weren't.
Then how'd he get this ribbon?
I don't know. He could have run up and taken it, I guess. I don't know.
Far distant when I'll be somebody's bride.
Gonna ask you again, boy.
I'm somebody's darling.
Where'd you get this ribbon?
I'm somebody's bride. Day is not...
Where's your gun, Cotton-Top?
Well, I thrown it in the river. I'm somebody's darling. I'm somebody's pride.
Did you use it? Did you fire your pistol?
I shot the moon clean out of the sky. I'm somebody... The moon were all hazy like behind a big old cloud. And I was aiming up at the moon. And when I was aiming at the moon, I hit it. It fell down to a million pieces all around me.
That were the snow, Cotton-Top.
And then there was fire. Fire on the house and fire flashing in the snow. Kapow, fire, kapow. I seen Cap. Kapow, pow, pow, pow. And there was a girl. She was run from the house with a bucket. Kapow, pow, 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 pow. And she fell down. And she didn't get up no more.
Did you shoot her, Cotton-Top?
No, Glance, I never shot her.
And why'd she fall down?
I don't know. It were cold and the ground was slippery, I guess.
Well, you had a gun in your hand, didn't you?
I was aiming at the moon, and I hit it, too.
Did you aim it lower?
I shot the moon clean out of the sky.
Could you have aimed it lower? Were you aiming at the fire on the house?
The moon were all hazy like up in the sky, and the fire was on the house below.
And then the girl came running towards you in front of the house. And you were down low. and she blocked out the moon. And when you was aiming at the moon, you missed it, and you hit her instead.
No, sir.
Yes, sir, boy, do you hear me? You shot that girl running from the house because your gun dropped down a little too low. You were lying on the ground, aiming up at the moon. And the girl came running towards you from the house. And she got between you and the moon, and you shot her.
No, sir, I never did.
But Daddy,
I never did.
it just couldn't have been Cotton Top. It just couldn't have been.
You get in there and have your man look at that eye before you lose it.
But Daddy, you can't let Cotton Top take the blame. He's just like a dumb half-wit. He's like a little baby.
That's why he ain't gonna see no time. If they come looking for him, they ain't gonna convict him. Now get in there and have your man look at that eye.
The defendant will rise and state his name.
Cotton Top?
Your Christian name.
Ellison Mounts.
Ellison Mounts, who is your father?
Daniel Mounts?
Who's Ellison Hatfield?
My other daddy.
You are the child of Ellison Hatfield, are you not? Are you a Hatfield?
Some folks say I'm a Woods colt.
Who is Devil Anse Hatfield?
Uncle Ance.
Where were you last New Year's night?
Oh, I don't rightly know.
Tell the court, if you please, where you were when the Hatfields burned down the home of Randall and Sally McCoy.
I was in the woods.
You were in the woods next to the McCoy home, were you not?
It were snowing.
Yes, that's right. It was snowing. But the snow couldn't put out the fire the Hatfield gang had set, could it? And so Alifair McCoy ran to the well with a bucket.
She come running towards me. Now, don't you think that snow were mighty cold on her feet? If my man would have saw me without any shoes on out in the snow, she would have broken the switch on me for sure. Alifair didn't have no shoes on.
And she came running toward you?
Yes, sir.
She came running toward you, and when she was close, you took your gun and you fired it, didn't you?
I was aiming at the moon, and I hit it, too.
You hit Alifair McCoy also, didn't you?
And then the girl come running towards you in front of the house. And you was down low. And she blocked out the moon. And when you was aiming at the moon, you missed it. And you hit her instead.
You are talking about yourself, aren't you, Ellison?
Yes, sir, boy, do you hear me? You shot that girl run from the house because your gun dropped down just a little too low. You was lying on the ground, aiming at the moon. And when the girl come run from the house, she came between you and the moon, and you shot her.
Ellison Mounts, do you know that it is wrong to kill somebody?
Yes, sir, but I never killed nobody.
Ellison Mounts, you killed Alifair McCoy on New Year's night of this year, didn't you?
No, sir, I never did. I never.
Nobody who can help that boy?
Oh, I don't know, child. They're doing what they can, I guess. Devil Ants don't have too much power over there in Pikeville.
Roseanne, how you doing?
Chauncey, I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, I would have come sooner, but they done sent a fresh set of lawmen out to look for me. So Daddy made me go up to Mates Creek for a while. But I'm going to stay by you now, though. I promise.
I'm worried about little Cotton Top.
Now, you need to worry about yourself. Daddy's hired Cotton Top a real good lawyer. And everything will be all right.
I promise.
Chauncey, I know you were there when Alifair were killed.
Roseanne, I never killed Alifair. Neither did Cotton Top.
She went peaceful-like, didn't she? And quick?
Yes.
I've been lying here thinking about how much I want to see her, and at the end, there's something I've been wanting to give you.
And you just need to lay still. And I want you to listen to what I'm telling you. And I've had a lot of time to think about it. And I ain't been the smartest man. And I ain't done right by you. God knows it. But I've always loved you best, Roseanne. And somehow I think you know that. Now, Nancy's talking divorce, and since I ain't been no kind of husband to her, I think she'll get it. And I'll be free to marry you, Roseanne. Just like we always wanted to. Now, I want you to listen to me, and listen to what I'm telling you. This is all going to blow over. As soon as it does, we're going to pack up and move away somewheres. Hell, Roseanne, that railroad's getting closer every day. And they can travel faster than anything you ever seen and take you anywheres. Maybe we'll go to Missouri or Colorado even and get us a farm. And I hear they're giving away land out there, Rosie. Just acres and acres of it. We can get us a place of our own little home. Roseanne, are you hearing me? Do you understand?
Yes, Chauncey. A place where we can build a home.
Colorado. That's right. They got mountains out there, Rosie. Big ones like you ain't never seen. We'll climb to the top of the highest one we see as soon as we get there. And catch that last little bit of light. Just like you're always wanting to. Roseanne?
Yes.
Roseanne, you're going to the prettiest place you ever saw. I promise.
Yes, Chauncey. I think I am.
Roseanne? Roseanne! Roseanne!
Come to get you, boy. Got word the law's about to find you out.
I ain't leaving her, Daddy. I've done left her too many times before.
You got to go, boy. If they nab you now, you'll do time for sure.
Roseanne's dead, Daddy.
Well, that ain't my fault, is it?
You're damn straight it is. And it's my fault, too.
Now, you listen to me, boy.
Listen to you? I'm tired of listening to you. I've done listened to you for the last time. You once told me that if I married Roseanne, that I can consider myself out of the Hatfield home. I can't figure out right now is why that made any difference to me. I'm through, Daddy. I done fought my last for your mixed-up idea of honor. You and all them other Confederate captains, you can't let the big war go. Cap can be your oldest son from now on. Hell, he's even got your name. Captain Anderson Hatfield. All of these years, I've been trying to please you by talking big and waving my guns. But that ain't me. That's Cap, who really wants to be you. I can't think of nothing else that'd be worse.
You should talk to your old pap that way. You've been drinking, boy.
Yeah, I've been drinking. But I done drunk my last, you hear? I ain't making it no more. I ain't selling it no more. And I damn sure ain't drinking it no more either. I'm through with the Hatfield brand of business, Daddy. I'm through being a Hatfield altogether.
Now you listen to me. You's a Hatfield. And you's always gonna be a Hatfield. You can't walk away from who you are no more than anybody can. Got the blood of Indian fighters and frontiersmen. Came out here and settled this land when it was still wild country. You got fighting blood in you. And I think you'd be proud to claim it instead of sitting there belly aching about it.
Claim it? No, I don't claim it. I give it up right now. Just like I should have done a long time ago. My fighting days are over, Daddy. I'll lay my weapons down.
That's the law coming. I'm going out the back way. You better come too.
They ain't never gonna catch him. You mark my words. He'll outlive every one of them damn warrants they got. Outlive us all. I predict that too. Only the good die young.
Johnson Hatfield, come out with your hands up.
Johnson Hatfield, in relation to your actions on the night of January 1st, 1888, at the home of Randall and Sally McCoy, you are accused of arson in the first degree, destruction of private property, assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder in the case of Mrs. Sally McCoy, aiding and abetting the murder of Miss Alifair McCoy.
Your Honor, since we've read the specifications of charges against my client, and since my client has firmly made up his mind to plead himself guilty to all, we respectively waive the right to a full reading of charges at this time and ask the sentence be passed.
For the record, Mr. Hatfield, how do you plead?
Guilty.
By the authority vested in me by the state of Kentucky, I hereby sentence you to life imprisonment. I further order that you shall be taken to the state penitentiary in Kentucky, where you shall be incarcerated until the end of your natural life. Members of the jury, in the matter of the people of the state of Kentucky versus Ellison Mounts, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Kill nobody?
What say you?
We find the defendant, Ellison Mounts, guilty of murder in the first degree.
I never killed nobody.
By the authority vested in me by the state of Kentucky, I hereby sentence you to death by hanging. I set the date of execution for February 1st, the year of our Lord, 1890, at which time, in the city of Pikeville, in the county of Pike, you shall be hung from the neck until dead.
I never killed nobody.
At which time, you shall be hung from the neck until dead.
I never killed nobody.
At which time, you shall be hung from the neck until dead.
I never killed nobody.
Likely to be another one of them hangings as long as some who was there is still alive to tell the tale. Your pa holed up after that, Johnsy, after Cotton Top was hung and you was locked up. Didn't hardly come out or go nowheres. Not till Brother Garrett come up and told him, Anderson Hatfield, if you're ready to have your sins washed away, I'm ready to lead you to the water. Folks come from all over these hills to see old devil ants go down into the river and come up with a new life.
It takes more than river water to wash away what you done in the past.
That's a fact. And tears won't do it neither. You can scream and cry and hurt all you want. Don't change a thing. Past is just that, the past. But that's what brought you up here tonight, ain't it, boy? The past.
I guess I was hoping I'd find a little of it. Still here.
Well, now, a little of it is. I found it while you was out getting the coal. It's what Roseanne was aiming to give you the day she died. Alifair give it to her when her little Bethy Ann was born. I was there one day when Cotton Top come up, and he was plumb thrilled when Roseanne asked him for a lock of his hair to put in there beside of Bethy Ann's. And this is a lock of Roseanne's hair. I saved it to put in there with others. I don't rightly know why I never got around to doing it. But now I want you to put it in there yourself, boy, and then close the lid. And close the book. That there's a story that's done been told.
I guess I come up here looking for things that ain't here no more.
Well, the things that are here you got a pocket full of. That's them memories all of us is always carrying around with us. And you can trot them out now and again when you need to, but you can't be living your life looking behind. When they closed them prison gates at your backside this morning, Johnsy, that there were the start of a new life. Not many people get a second chance. But you got you one. And you got to take it, you hear? Well, yeah, looks like the worst of it's about over.
Yes, I think it is.
Now, I expect when your ma'am sees you, she's going to mess up every pot in the kitchen making you the biggest breakfast you ever seen. But, what about your pa, Johnsy? Well, he ain't that old, but the years is telling on him. You gonna find you some common ground before it's too late?
I guess we'll try. People do mend their opinions of one another, you know?
Now and again, child, now and again they do.
Embarrassing.